You are starting at McKinsey or BCG or any other consulting company? In this video you will learn when and how to cover your back with an email so that you're never being blamed for someone else's mistake again, but instead help your project stay on track. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Hi guys, this is Wolf from Breakfast for Champions. We are startup founders and former top management consulting team leads, and we help you to advance your career and become a more respected leader. This is the 10th video in our series on how to professionalize your emails. And if you haven't seen the other videos yet, there's a link down in the description that will take you to the series. First of all, what are the situations in which these tips become more and more important? And the answer is, whenever you have a project that does not work out as planned, then you should pay more attention to these tips. So the situation could be that you can't finish an analysis, or that you're hitting a blocking point that you cannot solve. Or, and that's the worst case, when you find out that involved people on the project form in opposition against the project's goals. I had this situation once when I was doing a project for Siemens. The goal of our project was to increase sales for a specific business unit. And over the weeks we noticed that some involved people seemed to sabotage the project for personal gains. They delayed their input, they didn't respond to emails and calls, and at one point they even spread misinformation, only to lower their future sales targets. In a situation like this, you as the project lead or as a project team member want to make sure that you are not the one who is taking the blame for these actions. Instead, you want to make sure that everyone stays on board and that the potential for misunderstanding and ambiguity is massively reduced. So here are the strategies that helped us a lot, especially strategy 2 and 3, to get the project back on track. Are you ready? Tip number 1. Document the outcome of every meeting in writing. Honestly, this tip you should also consider when your project is well on track. Every productive meeting should end with a mutual understanding of 3 very important things. Who does what, until when. So at the end of every meeting, there should be an agreed upon action item list that clearly lists what are the actions that the project team is going to take care of, who is the person that is responsible for this action item, and what is the deadline for this specific action item. This documentation becomes increasingly important if you have doubts whether the people really took their action item with them from that meeting, or when you notice that certain people forget their action item that they were supposed to take care of. So let's have a look at an email example where this is done perfectly. In this documentation email directly sent after the meeting, the writer briefly summarized what has been agreed upon during the meeting. All OTCs are to be considered preliminary until May 31st, and production line 4 and 5 will not be transferred from Berlin factory. And then comes the most important part, the agreed upon key action item list. In bold typeface, it says your discussed to-dos and deadlines. Prepare draft for Workers' Council meeting. M. Hill, May 10th is the deadline. Unify format of factory business cases. D. Cross, May 12th, the deadline. Revise communication concept, A. Davis, also May 12th. And then at the end, in bold typeface, the next project meeting takes place on Wednesday, May 12th, 10 a.m. When you write a documentation email like this one, you highlight your understanding of what has been discussed and decided, and you make crystal clear who is responsible for what until when. You reduce the potential for misunderstanding because now you have a written document that you can refer to and that other people can refer to when they have a question. A documentation email like this is not only proof that you have not forgotten anything or what your understanding of a specific decision was, it also enables you to easily follow up on tasks by forwarding this email. Tip number 2. Document oral one-on-one agreements. This is important for one-on-one exchanges as they happen over the phone or via brief talks in the hallway. And you really want to document those exchanges if you want to clarify that your understanding is correct, or when you have doubts that the received information is correct, or if someone else who is involved in the project needs to know about that exchange. There are 2 things you want to consider when you're documenting such an oral conversation. Number 1, if you want to put someone in CC, you should announce that while you talk to the person, or you should tell them in the email why you are putting someone in CC. Otherwise, it would look like you are reporting this conversation, especially if the person in CC is of higher authority. And number 2, when you ask a question in your documentation email, also tell in your email what you're going to do if they don't answer. Otherwise, you would be left hanging if they don't answer to your email. Let's take a look at an example where this is done really well. After having spoken to him, Emily sends Wolfgang a brief email saying, "Thanks for the brief update over the phone. Just to be sure, I understand that I shall not longer take the latest HR numbers on compensation, but continue with the older numbers from March. If I don't hear from you, I'll stick to the older numbers as advised." Putting Jonathan in CC here to keep him in the loop. Thank you and best regards, Emily. Although Jonathan was not part of the original conversation, he now knows that there was a telephone call between Wolfgang and Emily, in which Wolfgang advised Emily to use certain numbers going forward. Before we move over to tip number 3, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that very much. Tip number 3, document fruitless effort. This is important for you if someone whose contribution is critical to the project's success or the success of your module is blocking you. So that means someone is not answering the phone when you call, is not replying to your emails, and does not call back. If you need to do that, there are a few things to consider. Number 1, don't sound desperate. This email is your chance of telling your side of the story and why something didn't work out. So tell your story confidently. Number 2, make clear what you want to achieve with your email. Is this just an FYI, or do you want to trigger some action? And number 3, put someone of higher authority in CC if you feel that this might solve the blocking point, or if these people are the ones that you need to justify to in the future. Let's have a look at a good example. This email is a message from Maya to Wolfgang saying, "Dear Wolfgang, can we please meet in the next week for 1 hour to finalize the analysis of HR numbers? I was trying to set up a meeting with your assistant, but your calendar seems to be fully blocked for the next 4 weeks. Thanks, Maya." In this email, Maya makes clear what she wants to achieve. She wants to have a 1-hour discussion with Wolfgang in the next week, and she puts her project manager in CC to create a paper trail and to document that she has already tried numerous times before to get this meeting set up. So there you have it, 3 career-saving tips on when and how to cover your back with an email. I hope you find it useful and took something away from it. If you enjoyed this video, you might probably also enjoy our video on how to convey bad news via email. If you click on the screen right now, you'll find a link to this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. We try to react to every comment that we get from you. And if you're new here, we upload a video every week to help you advance your career. If that sounds interesting to you, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell that you never miss out a helpful video. Thank you so much for watching, take care and see you next time.